Hi everybody, Natasha Koch here with the Van City Scoop, and here we are live in my new office, which I'm going to give everybody a little tour. It won't take very long, I just have to turn. There's my board and my logo. Hi Mitch and Luke. Wow, there's two of you. Cool. So today I'm in my office, and now I'm headed out to show houses shortly, so I wanted to jump on and do a little bit of a live, and I wanted to talk about the mistakes to avoid when you sell your home and you buy another one. So I actually didn't have this topic planned, but I decided to talk about it because it seems to come up often. Hi, Blanche. It seems to come up often that people have a concern that they're going to sell their house and then they're not going to have somewhere to go. So I want to talk about some of the things to avoid. Hey, Kimber, when you're selling a home and buying another. So I have a few notes that I took, and then I'm just going to talk a little bit about my own personal opinions because I have lots of those. But when you sell your present home, it's really imperative that your timing is right. Now, obviously, it's different if it's a seller's market. Right now, we are in or moving into, well, we've pretty much moved into a buyer's market. So great time to buy. Hi, Brian. Thanks for joining. Not quite as quick for the selling side of things. So things are taking a little bit longer to sell. And so I think that overall, people are out there looking at what they're going to buy next. Sometimes people want to sell their home and they want to upgrade into a larger home. Maybe their family is too small and they need a larger home, or vice versa. They're downsizing and they're retiring and their kids have left and they're empty nesters, so they don't need as much space. So whatever your reason is, I think that probably the most difficult one is when you're trading sort of like for like, especially in this kind of market. Hi, Mariano and Brian. Did I say Brian already? I might have already said Brian. So I said hi to you twice, Brian. So anyway, unlike an experience of buying a first home, when you look to move up from already owning a home, there's a few things that can complicate the situation. So I put together from some research that I did with help from Google that there's six strategies that I'm going to talk about anyway today. There's a lot more than six, but there's six. So first one, rose-colored glasses. Hey, rose-colored glasses. Most of us dream of improving our lifestyle and moving to a larger home. The problem is that there's some discrepancies between our hearts and our bank accounts. Hi, Dan. You drive by a home, you fall in love with it, and it's already sold. So that happens not as often right now. Things tend to stay, but the good ones, or the ones that are priced bang on, tend to go. And so you haven't even gotten your house on the market yet, but you're out looking at your potential dream homes, and then you see the sold sign come up. So it's a little bit disheartening. So number one thing is you should find a realtor that can put you on a buyer profile service, or some kind of a house hunting service. We have a program that's automated so that we can enter in your search criteria. And so that way we know exactly the neighborhood you're looking in, the price point you're looking in. So it's a really good idea to get an agent so that you can set that up in advance, because it's not difficult for us to do. And once you're set up, you're gonna get the new listings as they come on the market. So a lot of people tend to look at, realtor.ca when they're looking for properties. Our program as realtors is faster. There's a lot of programs on the internet to find listings, and how they derive those listings is by syndicating with the real estate board, which is not a bad thing, but it really depends on how often during the day the computers talk to each other, I guess. So if it's a quick market and you want to be on top of new listings, best thing to do is to sign up with a realtor so that they can set you up on their program or our program. Anyway, it matches your criteria. It sends you all of the homes that are available on the market, and that way you can drive by. It gives you the addresses, and then you can have a look at the houses that match, and get a feel for what the pricing is, how quickly they're selling, before you go ahead and put your house on the market. So number two thing to avoid, don't avoid doing necessary repairs to your house that you're going to sell. A lot of people think, oh, well, I'm selling, so why bother, fixing that annoying whatever, the window's not closing properly or the door squeaks or whatever. Chances are pretty good that somebody else is going to notice, and minor investments come back tenfold. And especially in a buyer's market where they have a lot of selection, really important to do those little final touches. I was just actually talking to somebody about that the other day where I said, most people do renovations within the first 6 months of owning a home, and then they have a tendency to just step over things. You kind of get used to it, and then you figure, you get busy with your life and you don't end up fixing it until you go and sell it. So fix it. Fix all those little things, because, you can take a weekend, get some friends together, have a little painting party, make it fun, and then put your house on the market. Number 3, not selling first. So this is a big one. And this is the one that I was talking to a client about today. She is already starting to look at other properties, and she saw one that she liked, but she doesn't have her house on the market yet. But she's scared to put her house on the market because she doesn't want her house to sell, and then she doesn't have a house to go to. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more in a minute. But honestly, you don't want to be attached to the house that you're selling and negotiating the next house. You're not in a good, strong position on either end. And so any realtor, I hope every realtor, would recommend that you definitely sell first before buying your next home. Number 4, failing to get a pre-approved mortgage. So just because you were able to afford the mortgage of the house that you're in, if you have a mortgage, doesn't mean that you can afford the next house. So with mortgage rules changing and all the criteria changing in the industry, it's a really good idea to go back and talk to your mortgage broker. Let them know, or your bank, let them know what you're planning on doing, and see what you get pre-approved for as far as pricing. If you're upgrading to a larger house, it might cost you a little bit more. Maybe your mortgage is portable, which would save you on the penalty of breaking the existing mortgage if there's a term. So there's lots of really good, valuable information that you can get from your broker before you even put your house on the market. So as I just talked about, the catch-22. The catch-22 of real estate: selling your house first or buying your house first. That's the biggest dilemma, actually. So selling first is always the better option. Sometimes people don't need to sell their house first. Maybe they have a lot of equity in it, and this is another thing you can talk to your broker about. Maybe there is enough equity, which is in the value of your home that is yours, you're owning outright. Maybe you can draw from that in order to put down on your next home. And maybe you'll have both homes. Maybe one will be an investment. I was talking to somebody today who wants to sell their house and buy something in the same exact neighborhood but bigger for the same price as their house. So I know most of you are probably thinking, oh my gosh, that's impossible. And maybe so, maybe it's not going to be possible. So I suggested, well, why don't you buy something else and allow the two of them to appreciate, because the market will turn around. And when it does, you can sell both houses in order to buy the next big, beautiful house that you really, really want in the exact location. So it's all about creativity and, changing things up a little bit, and getting second opinions on how to do that, or thinking outside the box is always a good idea. Okay, so the real estate catch-22. Sell your house first before you negotiate on your next one, because if you make an offer subject to the sale of your house, you're not in a really strong negotiating position. And those of you that want to sell, I don't know if you're aware of this, but there's no reason that you can't put a clause when you accept a buyer's offer that says that you need to go out and find a house. Hi, Celia, and hi, Ellen, and hi, Sean. Thanks for joining. I know it sounds reverse, and it is, but you have all the control when you're selling your house. It's on your terms. If you don't like the price, if you don't like the dates, if you don't like the conditions, you do have the ability to negotiate, and you or turn it down completely. So a lot of people are scared to put their house on the market because they think they have to accept whatever offer comes in, and you do have full control. So put a subject to you finding your house and give yourself enough time to get out there and start looking. Number 6, which is the final one, is failing to coordinate closings. This is pretty important. So when you sell your house and you buy a new one, you want to make sure that your closing date, which is the date that the money transfers, and your possession date, which is the date that you move into the house, is coordinating with each other. I have seen many, many times where people accept an offer and then they find a house that they like. They didn't coordinate the dates, and now they need to move out of one house, stay somewhere temporarily with family in a hotel, temporary rental accommodations, whatever, with their things sitting in storage before they get possession of their new house. It's not a great situation for most people, so try to coordinate your closings so that they simultaneously work together. I often like to recommend, especially if you're selling, to allow the money to transfer so that you get your money in your pocket and not have your possession date for the new buyers the next day. So that way you can have, maybe 2 days if it's possible to negotiate, so that you can get your things into your new house, because you'll have the money, you'll have bought your new house, and you'll have a couple of days to move. So if there's a way to coordinate that, your realtor can do that for you, and it's a really, really good idea. So those are 6 of the mistakes to avoid. And I do actually have a written report on this, so if you'd like a copy of the report, please don't hesitate to visit my website or to message me. And other than that, come and join my bus tour. I got these really cool little postcards now that I'm handing out, and TD and New West allowed me to put some on their table, so I'm kind of excited. So every Sunday we have a bus that goes out to different areas from 2 to 4, and we take a look at all the open houses and similar listings. So join us on our tour, and we'll see you on Thursday for the Van City Scoop. Hey, Allison, thanks for joining. See you soon. Bye-bye.